Right, got 2 dogs on me now. Chris, are we rolling?
We are rolling and we are ready to go.
Right, we'll get stuck in. So, welcome to the RUNcensored Podcast with me, Ben Mounsey, and Gary House. Luna and Pete have joining us today, and a returning guest, one of our favourite guests, special Kay Hawke. Kay, I suppose probably we don't need another introduction, because what we could do is point people to a previous episode where you did the intro and we did a whole episode about orienteering. Chris is about to tell me which episode that is. I think it's definitely one of the earlier ones, because I was wearing a Christmas jumper, a Leeds jumper. So it was January last year.
I'm going to go
what are you going to guess?
7.
9, I think.
Oh, really? So far? Nice. What did I say? 4? I think I'm way out.
No, we did 4 in the first day in Sheffield, didn't we?
Yeah, I didn't know if we classed that intro as one, and I didn't know if this was the first of the next batch, if you know what I mean. So
Chris will let us know.
Okay, what did you say? 9.
7.
I'll go 6. Right, okay, and then Chris will find out. So it's called the RUNcensored Podcast, Chris, if you want to Google it.
The secret trail
I can't believe
races.
how bad our thumbnails are when we first started. I've changed it. Gary gave me some feedback on the thumbnails and I've changed them all, and I actually can't find a thumbnail with Kay in it, so I don't know which
No,
one
you
it is.
didn't have a thumbnail with me in it. You just had you two buggers in it. You didn't put me anywhere near it.
No, we didn't, did we?
No.
We were taking all the glory, weren't we, for
Yeah.
that one, I think. Yeah.
Doesn't sound like you, though.
It's all right. While Chris is trying to work this out, it's not that important, Chris.
Thrilling
Don't
for
worry.
everyone listening.
Yeah. I'll introduce Kay again. So Kay is the British Partnerships Manager. The Partnerships Manager for British Orienteering.
I am.
Good friend of mine, working very closely together, aren't we, on a lot of events. Chris, you've got the answer.
I've got it. This is a really awful thumbnail. We need to update this. It's episode 5. Must try trail races for everyone.
Was Kay our first guest then?
On the first batch outside, yeah.
Knobheads that we dragged on it.
She was our first proper
I think you carried on the theme with me, to be honest with you.
Hey, I wasn't far off, was I? I thought 4, and I think I wasn't classing the intro, so
that's
maybe
right,
I was around about right. I'll take that one anyway.
I think it was probably the first one we shot here by the sounds of it then.
Yeah, it was, definitely. And it was definitely Christmas, because I had that jumper on. And I've carefully picked my attire for today, Kay, because I know you absolutely drilled me in the comments for my sliders and socks.
Come on.
Yeah, I know, but I just had them on. I have them in the house, you see, and I don't wear them out and about unless I'm going to the spa to buy reduced goods. But I did buy a new pair of, I don't know what they are. They're not Crocs, because I won't wear Crocs.
Sex past 5,000.
Yeah, they are like size 5 shoes. But then the
you
Nike.
look like you're in one of those Facebook videos where someone's just been caught.
Yeah. What did you say? Just been released out of prison?
Yeah,
that was it. Yeah.
Find the picture and you just look genuinely thrilled. Like it's just Christmas Day, but you can't just help but see your socks and sandals. Like it's just.
To be fair, I wear mine a lot just coming here, but I've got
but
trainers
not for
in
pictures
case.
though.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy you some Kay for Christmas, and I'm going to try and get you some. You know, we talked about frog wellies the last time, which were a big thing when we were growing up. I'm going to try and get you some sliders / Crocs, but frogs. So like frogs, basically.
Yeah.
That aren't wellies, but just you can wear in the house.
Anyway,
what do you?
I nearly said someone else.
What do you think to these that I've got on though? And you will have to watch the YouTube video to see it. They're
what
quite
do I think?
Yeah,
they're very Californian, like they're very Benidorm.
Yeah,
Brit abroad.
Do you know what's ruining it for me slightly is the like old Asics socks, blue, burgundy with like whatever those leggings are as well.
Yeah, I didn't really think that bit through. I just put them on without even looking at the colours. Like Kirsty would kill me right
If you're
now.
out on a beach and you were in Australia or something, maybe
far away.
Sorry, we should probably get into the meatier part of the podcast and stop talking about my ridiculous fashion sense. But Kay, how have you been since that last episode? It's been almost a year.
I know, I can't believe it. Yeah, I've been good. There's been lots of busy times, lots of kind of travelling, which I'm sure we'll cover, lots of orienteering, lots of new members join my local club, including yourself.
Yeah, lots happened since then. Yeah. My orienteering, I want to say it's moved on a lot since then. It's not, I've done more races, let's say that. I wouldn't say that the skill level has moved on. Only maybe a slight bit. I bought more gear, but that doesn't necessarily make me a good orienteer,
Still
does
no
it?
idea.
still no idea.
I think you've got better. There's like on the last podcast we talked about the street O that you did July 2024 when you just kind of went in a circular pattern, and I said the thinkers go in. I think you're starting to think a bit more.
Yeah.
Apart from going back to controls that you've already been to. Just
There's been a lot of basic errors, haven't there? I mean, I've
like the wrong map.
Yeah, like the wrong map. Yeah. That was a particular standout, wasn't it? That one.
Yeah. But like just talking to you before, I don't know why you jibbed it in, because you could have just gone back to the start, cleared your SI card, and started again.
Racing head, that isn't it?
Isn't it? It just went, and it's schoolboy error. I think I'm making all the. I want to say the classic mistakes. I'm not. I'm inventing new mistakes that people should make when they're beginners. But I'm trying to learn from it. But I did want to sort of talk to you, I suppose, first of all, about how much impact you think you've had this year in terms of the job role you're doing, and maybe like, let's just say this podcast, for example, and the events that we're organising. Do you think more people are getting into orienteering since that first episode, or have you noticed a bit of a change?
I think definitely kind of like the awareness of orienteering is like on the rise. Like there's more people taking part in it. And I know you've chatted before about a guy that's come up to you at an event recently. He's called Liam, and he listened to the podcast originally and thought, I'll give it a whirl. And
that was a nice, like, heartwarming moment when he tapped me on the shoulder. Ingleborough was the course. I actually did well that day. Just want to put it out there. I won that one. Mic drop. So me and Liam were kind of queuing up together to start. Liam Webb, giving you a shout out, mate, because he has embraced orienteering like nobody else this year, has he? Even eclipsing me in terms of like race numbers that he's done. I think every single one I've done, he's been there. And actually, since I spoke to him at Ingleborough, he did come and do the street O the other week that I did. And I dibbed in. We had 45 minutes and I did 45.00, which is like, that never, rarely happens, does it? It's like the perfect time. The only thing was I'd run like 6.5 miles, and it was the most that anybody had run in the event. And I didn't win it either because I'd missed 2 of the checkpoints. I got exactly the same score as Liam, and we had a sprint finish at the end, and I just managed to dib in front of him, which meant that I dibbed in at 45.00. He dibbed in at 45.01, and he got a points deduction. Yeah. And so I beat him in the race, but he ran 5 miles. So he actually did a much better orienteering course, didn't he, than I did. But I felt really bad for him.
He was much more efficient, should we say, in his mileage.
He was,
his mileage per points. But I think
it's only the points that matter, though, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's points
so
and prizes, don't they?
Was it a Tommy Fury style finish? Did you like barge him out?
Actually, it was. Yeah, Gary would have been proud of me. It was. Yeah, it was. I went in with the elbow.
What Ben doesn't say, he was on there at 42 minutes and just had his hand in there for 4 minutes,
stopping everyone from finishing. I think it was the debrief on the bin that you had, which was like the atmospheric shot that I took. Was like you just found a local bin, put the map on, and was like, oh shit, why did I go back to that one? I think I added up on Strava, just like tracking your run. I think you added on about 3/4 of a mile to that. Just you'd already gone to a checkpoint and like visited it, and you can't go back to it and get any points from it or anything. But because you came at it a different way, you didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know. I only realised when I got there, I was like, shit, I've been here before. And I did come from literally the opposite direction. And I was, I mean, I made a lot of mistakes in that, but I was quite proud of myself because I used, I don't know if anyone's ever done this before, but I used my compass in a street O. Is that ever happened before?
It's what the proper people do. It's not what people like I do, because it's like compass is there for decoration on me. Like it's just SOS style if I need it, but that's what it's there for, I guess,
I was about to run off the map, so it's a good job I did, because it did turn me back round and put me back on course. Not that it mattered in the end because I didn't win it, but at least I found where I was again.
I love what you said there, not that it mattered because I didn't win it. It's like, that's like whole, I don't know if you saw my Instagram story yesterday, but I'm sick of stuff. And I know I'm going to alienate a lot of people here, but I'm getting all this holistic crap on my Instagram feed where it's like, did you enjoy did you win?
The taking part that counts.
And it's like, it's really not for me. I was just sick of it yesterday, so I cracked it on my Instagram story, and it's like all these different kind of pie charts. Like I won, and it was like the smallest bit. I won my age group, so it's like a bit of a smaller. And then it was like I beat my negative thoughts big bit, and I got out the hat. I'm like, oh, get away! Like so on my Instagram story, it was just like tosh. Only thing that matters, and I was like, DM me for an argument because I'm just not. Like, I'm just like, what you saying that is like to some people, it is the winning that motivates people. And I think we're quite similar with that, like in terms of
very competitive.
And I don't think that it's a bad thing to be like that. I think English people especially are quite reserved, and they're quite kind of like, and like Emma, like she'll dig me and she'll just like have some, humility to you. And it's like, I'm not doing it to other people. I'm not putting other people down.
Like Ben's a good example. You can have that will to win, but also not be like a dick about it if you don't win. It's like, and you can still, like, we all want each other to do well, but like you say, if you really want to win, it's like we've all played bloody Monopoly before. Like, it's not like you
flip
don't.
The board.
Yeah. It's like there's nothing wrong with wanting to win.
No,
I don't think it's how you react when you don't win is probably the important bit to a certain degree. Like, I'm totally with that. I'm not in a position where I can win a lot of races anymore. But but then you want to, like you say, then we joke about it, but there's age groups, or there's. Even if it's your bloody neighbour or something, and they don't even know you're trying to beat them. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's true.
And I don't think it's like recognised. And I think if you look at the ultra top athletes, regardless of sport, they've got that mindset of just winner. You look like Max Verstappen, or like they just have that mindset of winning's not a problem. Like, and I spent some time in California, like in my previous life, and that American mindset of celebrating winners, not putting people down. And in this country, we're just, we're too shy to kind of like put it out there and say.
Most people will encourage you to a certain level.
And then you get dragged down,
exactly,
don't you?
Yeah. That's what it usually is over here.
Yeah. Well, like
and that's
in America
whether it's
and other
in
countries.
any area of life, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see it in like the media, don't you? They build people up to a certain point.
Yeah. And then when you get a certain level of success, that's your time done.
They take it away. Yeah. But I think there's nothing wrong with if I want to win a certain race, but I think, like you said, like it's how you react to it. And it's like, there's not, I don't want to sound big-headed here, but it's not many times when I get beat. But if I do get beat, like that gets me out of bed on the Monday morning, because I'm like, what have I done wrong? And what can I do better, rather than like that excuse, or, like, definitely. It's like I don't mind getting beat, because like you've done something better than me. And it's like,
fair play kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've got better with losing, although I have still got like a long list of excuses that I can refer to. Injuries and like,
picking up the wrong map.
Yeah, picking up the wrong map. Yeah, I've got a real list, so I just kind of go down and think like, I've not used that one for a while. Just throw that one in.
Refresh.
Yeah. Just mix it up a little bit. Yeah. But I mean, just going back to people getting involved in orienteering, Liam's a great example of someone who's listened to the podcast who then went and did a few races, and now he's like well into it. But I think some of your runners did the same, didn't they, Gary? I remember when that episode went out, and part of House Running Club, and I don't know where it was in the country, went and did a few. Yeah,
well, a couple of them went out and did a few, and then it was quite good, because I've got like the WhatsApp group, like most people have when they run a group like that, and some of them shared because we've got quite a few London-based runners, and they shared some of their urban maps as well, or they'd said, they'd done a similar, or like they'd seen the map that I took a picture of and everything. They're like, bloody hell. So it was, and to be honest, 2 or 3 of them, I didn't even know they were off doing it. So I've been coaching them for quite a while, and they're just doing it because it's like, 30, 45 minutes, and they're just doing it for fun, essentially.
Yeah.
So there was almost like a whole new world within that they were sharing and stuff, and it was really good, to be honest. And it made me think as well, because I used to think orienteering as like just in the woods and stuff like this, and that's my only experience to it. But that whole and I'll be honest, in the whole group, it was the city runners, the urban orienteers that were doing it most. Yeah.
I think, did you call it like the gateway drug to orienteering? Also, I remember you sending me a screenshot saying, "Kay, you'll be pleased. Like, my runners are pissed off to rather than doing your your session."
And like, is it okay if I do this instead of this? And it's like, well, yeah, because it's not. It's definitely. It's not like you're changing out 10 times 1K for it. Kind of thing. It's like, can I change out my easy hills or my easy run tonight? Of course you can. Yeah. It's not that intense, really, at most level, but
it's really addictive, though, isn't it?
It is.
I can see, like I've not had a chance to do an urban one, but closest I got was like geocaching in Centre Parks in the summer.
It's a lot cheaper than that.
Which that's the closest I got over the summer to an urban one.
Is that with the kids?
It's quite good at Centre Parks, because they like I hadn't realised. I've gone a couple of times, but we did it this time. But they've got, say, rocks and things in all it that you wouldn't even realise that they're like man-made rocks, but you don't realise, and that's where some of the stuff is and things. So it's hidden. All the stuff is like hidden in plain sight around centre parks.
Oh, that's pretty
So
cool.
the kids loved it, yeah. And we covered like 5 or 6K around the whole thing, doing it. So it's.
That is a good way in for families as well, isn't it? You know, if you want to get your kids involved or get them out of the house.
It doesn't have to be centre parks.
It's not an advertisement for centre parks.
Orienteering is way more accessible.
I know I have done a few geocaches, and I've always been really disappointed with the lack of like goodies in like the containers that you find. So what I did do a couple of years ago is round Thresfield, I went and found a few and I filled them up with like some pretty cool shit. You know, the stuff I get at like events and races and things like that.
I bet it all had the yellow labels on it.
Yeah, oh, definitely, yeah. You know,
this is a sample, not for resale.
Yeah, exactly. So there's some really good shit around there. Thresfield is what I'm saying now, unless it's all been whipped up now. But yeah, I'll put some more out there just to try and encourage
sell by
people.
dates.
Yeah, that sausage roll might not have stood the test of time.
Through my Instagram, when I was like, I'd run through the lanes, and particularly in the spring or this time of year, where I always kind of leave I'm always cold, right? So, but I leave the house and then within a mile I need to take layers off. So I'm always dropping stuff in salt bins around where I live. So there's like, and then I remember going to run like literally like 2 weeks later and going, I went to put in, it was on my Instagram thing because I used to video them. It was very boring, I know, but I like putting another jacket in the salt bin, open up the salt bin, and there was a jacket there from 2 weeks ago. It was quite a decent jacket. I just completely forgot about it. So that's my version of geocaching. People can just go around, I'm not going to say where, but there's probably jackets and all sorts around.
What we're saying is go around the bins in Llandegla and you'll probably find some of Gary's
I used to get
clothes,
messages like, which salt bin is that? Because it's like putting like a 200 quid jacket in. And giving people tips. You have to check the salt bin because some of them hold water and they're dripping down.
Salt bins in Llandegla and geocaching in Thresfield. Yeah. That's where it's at, isn't it? Yeah.
I remember once in February I came back and they were filling the salt bins and I literally had to put a sprint on because they were I'd never seen them fill them before. And it was, I'd literally caught up with him before. He was one before filling the one where my Montaigne jacket was in,
Imagine seeing that though, if you're filling the salt bins. And
you wouldn't have even noticed because it was just in the bottom and they were quite empty. So he just filled it in and I'd have to wait 12 months to get my jacket back.
Praying for snow and ice.
I was thinking that. So, I mean, it's been great seeing more people get stuck into the orienteering. And actually on like a global level, I think it's been brought to more attention after the World Champs, hasn't it, this year? Because, you know, I looked at the results. We did a full episode on the World Champs, but I mean, I suppose that the headline star really of the World Champs was Tove Alexanderson, who, amongst many things, is an orienteer.
First and foremost, I think.
Yeah.
You know, and
she's pretty much the best in the world. She was the gold medal winner in the short trail. I said the short trail, it was still like ultra short, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And in the men's race, Fred Tronchard is a sky runner and an orienteer.
Yep.
So he obviously won as well, got gold. And I think the third place Spaniard, Andreu. Yeah. He was also. So I mean, I think they talked about it quite a lot on the comms.
Yeah, I mean, watched it live. Well, watched Tove's race live because she's a bit of a heroine to me. We did try and get her to the Quid Games, which we'll chat about later. But like watching it, just as a neutral, like the amount of times orienteering was mentioned by the commentators was just like fantastic for us because it was just like, you know, they were just talking about how the sport helps them with trail running, and you know, even they were talking about the cameramen and the camera women that are. I feel sorry for them because you hear them breathing out their ass, and it's like, you know, imagine getting that gig of like you've got to like get ahead of Tove on this run for 5 miles and carry a camera, and it's like, geez. But they were saying like they were even using amateur orienteers.
We didn't bank on that. Somebody knocking at the door on Friday. Dogs going wild. That'll be one of my many Amazon parcels.
I was going to say,
It's probably some orienteering gear that I've ordered or something off Vinted that I don't need, to be honest. Sorry, anyway, going back to Tove, she is your heroine, isn't she?
She is. Yeah. She is. And I think they think like, I don't even know what she's on, like 37 gold medals across everything like skimo, orienteering, trail running, mountain running. I think she's like 17 gold medals in orienteering.
Yeah.
And I think the thing about Tove is that she's just a machine. She doesn't stop. Like she'll have an orienteering season from March to June, and then straight away she'll go into, you know, mountain running season, and then she's spending the winter now in skimo season. And the thing about, I think with Tove as well is that she just like, there's no fear about her. And that's what I kind of, and I've said this before, but I'm going to do Tove the worst kind of like compliment ever, but she reminds me of myself. And like Tove will be listening to this. Like I'm sure she will be listening, and she'll be like, Jesus Christ, like, no, I'm not. But the thing about Tove is that she has no fear, and she's super fast, but unfortunately, like myself, she makes mistakes, but she'll either win or she'll get disqualified. And obviously, like I've chatted before in like the first episode, like the way that you can get disqualified in orienteering is like by mispunching, going to the wrong checkpoint, missing one out accidentally. And with Tove, there's a lot of time. I mean, she's won 17 gold medals in orienteering, like, and everything else in orienteering, but she'll be winning a race by 2 or 3 minutes. And because she's going that fast, she'll just outrun herself, and she'll outrun her thinking abilities, like no disservice to her whatsoever.
That's a new excuse for you then, mate.
Yeah.
Write that one down.
Yeah,
But
I've got that
but
one.
it's easy to do. Like, and I do it myself, and like she'll miss out of control, and she'll be winning 2 controls, 2 checkpoints before the end, 2 or 3 minutes, and then not realise she's missed one out and disqualify herself. And then you see her at the end, and it's just like, it's not a shrug, and it's not like, oh, it doesn't matter or anything. But a lot of the times in orienteering world championships or European championships, they're 4 or 5 days events, and it's like you'll have a relay one day, you'll have kind of like a sprint event where you're just going out by yourself. Then you'll have like sprint knockout where there's like 6 of you and you kind of knock each other out each round. So there'll be like 4 or 5 days of competition, and sometimes this will happen on day 1, and then she'll turn up on day 3, 4, and 5 and win. Like it doesn't affect her in the slightest. She has this mentality where it's just, she turns up to the start lanes regardless of what event she's doing, orienteering or whatever, and she's got this inner belief that she's going to win because she's done all of the prep work, and she just has this air of confidence about her that nothing phases her in the slightest. Like she'll throw it away, and she'll throw away a European Championship gold medal in the sprint relay, but then the next day she turns up and then she's won a gold medal. Like there's just not that.
Not first.
Nothing
Ice
phases
maiden.
her. Yeah, and like I said, I don't want to compare myself to it because it's not. But I have that in terms of like, I will win a race or I'll lose a race. I'll never, so far, come 6th or 7th. And it's like, I'll either come first, second by a few seconds, or I'll disqualify myself because I've been a dickhead pretty much. And it's like, I think with Tove, I think the thing is with her and other athletes, like you've got Judith Wider, who's an orienteer by trade. You know, I know she had a bad time at the World Champs with the WASP situations and everything, but it's that, like, if you do the prep work and the background work and everything, you should be going to the start line. And I go to the start line and Tove goes to the start line, like, supremely confident. Like, there's not many races where I turn up and I'm like, if I don't make a mistake in this race, like, I'm winning this race. And it's like, some people see that as arrogance and everything. But I think
plus it's opportunity as well. Like orienteering gives you that opportunity to go again and again and again.
Yeah.
You're not I think sometimes from the outside looking in, some people put a lot on. UTMB is like an ultimate example. You don't get a chance to run UTMB every week, do you? Right? So because of the distance, because of everything. Whereas, so sometimes people that put all that effort and all their effort into one big event like that, and they miss out on the constant competition, for want of a better word.
Yeah.
Like if you're, and like you say, if you're competitive and you're winning 8 out of 10 races, you're doing bloody well, aren't you? Yeah. And if you can use that, the 2 that you're throwing away, that's all evidence that you keep building, and that's confidence. It's not arrogance.
No,
like you've got the evidence behind you to say,
exactly.
Look, that's what it is. I think that's a good thing. So a lot of people in orienteering can go again. Like Ben's doing. I know we joke around, but he's building up a load of evidence and confidence that he can go to a next one and do better. And it's completely different because it's not like he's standing on a fell race 5, maybe 10 years ago thinking, I should win this race, or I'm going to be trying to win this race. He's starting his book of evidence again, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I
Like,
think
it's exposure, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think,
exactly.
I
Yeah.
think like there's a lot of people in the world, like whether it's in general day-to-day living or whether it's in like your athletics career or, you know, the stuff you enjoy. And it's like, I think people avoid exposing themselves to uncomfortable situations but still expect to grow or, you know, and still throw the weight behind or care about something and say they want to do something. But then it's like, but you're not putting yourself in uncomfortable situations enough to grow. And I know that sounds really kind of like LinkedIn crap and everything, but it's like, so say for example with myself, like I very rarely run a women vet. So that's my age category, like which in urban orienteering, which is the bit that I enjoy, is like 40 to 54-year-old women. That's the age category. So it's like a 14-year age category, but I don't run it if it's just kind of a normal race. If it's kind of like an air race or PFO race, like I'll always run the male open race, which is always 2 or 3 miles further than typically what I do. Or because I think sometimes like people settle for the easy wins. And I don't want to say that sounding arrogant, but I could easily have ego boosts every couple of weeks by coming top of a local race for women vets and everything. But the stuff that I care about, it doesn't benefit me to.
You want to challenge yourself a bit more and put yourself out there.
Yeah, bit more. Like, and that's the thing that kind of like, sometimes, I mean, you follow a few people on Strava. I mean, my Strava is private apart from the people that want to follow me. And it's like, but there's a couple of people in my age category and I do like them, don't get them wrong, but you've had a race against them, say like the London City race or whatever. And you will go onto their Strava afterwards and there will be like a comment saying, oh, like these might be 48-year-old women or something, should we say, or 52. And it's like, oh, we can't keep up with the women in the early 40s or, you know, and there's some kind of like barbed comment there, but it's like, but you're not like, you look at the Strava, you look at the activities and training that they're doing, and it's like you're doing yoga for half an hour, like on a Monday, and you're going out for a 4-mile run, like once a week. It's like,
what you're expecting to do when you get to these races.
Yeah, like, and that, like, it's like, I do enjoy training, don't get me wrong, and I love running, but I enjoy the moment of winning and I enjoy the moment of being successful. So it's like, what do I need to do to feel those moments? And I know it's not the same for everyone, and it's the taking part that counts for some people and everything. But
knowing that you've worked hard and you've sacrificed things and you've done everything you can to get on a podium or win a race, it's more satisfying, isn't it, than just a cheap win, is what you're saying? You know what I mean?
And that's the thing. Like, I'll do my age category for, say, like a British Champs race or like the European races or something.
When the competition's there.
When it's there. And it's like 9 times out of 10, I do win it and I do win it by a few minutes or something. But then you get kind of like the barb comments a little bit, but no one sees the work that goes in when I'm at the track at 5:15 on a Monday morning, or the strength and conditioning that I'm doing or something. And it's like, it's not that I'm 42 and I'm 6 years younger than it. It's like, because I'm putting the effort in. Like,
yeah,
and it's,
but also you've got to trust yourself and back yourself like you already do. But you're not winning those races because you're the lower range of an age group.
Yeah,
you've been doing it all the way through. So if it's the same as, you could have that argument in any age group or if any race. If you're finishing in the mid pack, it's so everyone will always have, oh, well, I can't keep up with them because of X, Y, and Z. And like you say, well, a lot of the people still winning these races and still doing amazingly are no different. They're still working the same, or they might have families, and it's not a right or wrong. But in terms of application, it depends how much you want to do that, doesn't it? Versus go out and have fun and be social. I have that question sometimes with a lot of the people I coach, and again, it's not a right or a wrong thing. It's like, what do you actually want? Everyone wants to be better until it comes to doing the stuff that requires them to be better. Yeah. And the assumption is that everyone, it's not always, but sometimes everyone that is doing better than me, their life is different, or there's a reason for it outside of just, like you say, applying yourself to that goal. And it's, and I know we've gone down a slightly different path, but it is interesting. Whether it's the same, whether it's orienteering, ultra running, but you could apply it to losing weight, whatever. Yeah. So you've got to really think about, right, okay, what is it I want out of my orienteering? Is it, do I want to win a race in 3 years, because it probably is achievable. Yeah, I always say, like, a lot of these things are achievable. It's sometimes the timeline that you've got wrong. It's like, if I want to lose weight in 3 weeks, it's 5 stone, that's not achievable. But if you want to do it in 3 years, it is achievable. So you can work backwards from that.
Yeah. And it's, I was just going to say, like, it's like, how many excuses are you going to make? Like, you know, like going back, I mean, I've only orienteered since 2019, and like, I've probably only took it seriously in the past couple of years. Like, I know in the last one we talked about when me and Emma used to fall out because we were in the same age category, and I kind of like took a step back. But I think for me, like, because I used to play football, like back in the day, and that was kind of like a pressurized situation. Like, I always kind of viewed orienteering as like something that was fun, because I've had 15 years of just surviving in a pressurized situation and everything. And then it was like, you're doing well not without trying, but without kind of like forcing yourself into uncomfortable situations. So like last year, I kind of like got back into it a bit, like suffering from an injury, but kind of like took it a bit more serious, did well. But I was still, obviously urban orienteering is my thing. And then within urban orienteering, like my strengths are a bit like similar to you, is like simple, where you're just like running down the street and it's like first left, second right, and you can just get your head down and run. But like within urban orienteering as well, there's like sprint style. So if you think of social housing estates, like council estates and everything, where they've got like a lot of cut throughs, a lot of kind of like houses that are all together and close together, they're becoming even more popular to kind of like do events in and, you know, crack controls in and everything. And for me, I've always really struggled with those kind of things, because I'm like Jeremy Clark, so I'm just like speed and power. I just want to run, and all this kind of slowing me down, and I have to overthink and everything. And that used to catch me out, and I used to either miss punch or lose a lot of time. And then for the past 18 months, I've just put myself in situations where I've made sure that I'm doing events that are where they're just heavily and expose myself to it.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know, I can't go back to the excuse of like, oh, it doesn't suit me or anything. It's like, because have you tried like getting yourself better at it? And it's like, now, thankfully, touch wood, I'm a lot more calmer in them situations because I've exposed myself to that situation.
You've just got to put yourself out there, haven't you?
Yeah.
And I completely agree with that. And I mean, one thing I've learned more than anything, I suppose, these last few months doing it, is that every course that you do, no matter where it is, obviously it's different because it's in a different place, but every map's different. And like, I've done the street O's, I've done the ones in parks, I've done the ones on the fells. Actually, I find the ones on the fells a lot easier, if I'm honest, because that's what I'm kind of used to. And I think just being able to like look at the map and not have, I mean, you've got obviously features on the you know, the maps where you're running kind of on open fell. But when you're on a street or map, it's very like intense and complex, isn't it? And there's a lot more thinking. I mean, that's what I've really struggled with, but I've enjoyed making those mistakes. And like you said, you know, when you're in the middle of a council estate and there's all these little sneak through paths and there's the main streets, sometimes I'm like, right, do I try and chance it and take that shortcut, or shall I just do a long way around, knowing that I can just open up my stride? And like the other week we were in Burnley, weren't we?
Yeah.
I didn't want to spend too much time there because of the football club, but there was one checkpoint that was the other side of Turf Moor, and you had to, there was a very like obvious way around it, round the stadium, just on the main street, which was longer than the cut through, and I chose to do that just because I thought it's going to be easier for me to put my map away for a couple of seconds and get my foot down.
Well, the cut through was through a social housing estate, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't know if I was going to get murdered or anything like that as well, so that was another reason for like running around. No,
there's nothing wrong. Harry Potter's way, for anybody that's watching, there's nothing.
No,
but I mean, like, we looked at your Strava pace for that, and you were like hitting 5-minute mile pace, and it is just straight down. It's probably like 0.4 of a mile, wasn't it, in total? And you did like 5-minute mile pace to that control, but that doing that pace and simplifying it is still quicker faster than what you would have done 7-minute
so you're running further, aren't you? But you're doing it faster. Yeah.
And that's the beauty of the sport, though. It's like,
it really is.
Yeah.
And I know, I think I said it on the last podcast as well, but if I went and did that run and just did it as a run and not an orienteering event, I wouldn't enjoy it. I'd be like, I'd just be doing it and it'd be like getting the mileage in, and sort of running around the middle of Burnley, and I'm not taking in the views. But actually, when you do it as an orienteering event, and you can use this for your marketing, the orienteering races are in the shittest places, aren't they? Sometimes, but they're amazing races. So amazing races in the shittest of places. Not always, but it does make it like really fun to do it anywhere, and you can do it in a city centre or a town centre in the middle of a council estate at night, wherever. It doesn't matter where these orienteering races are. No. Whereas when I think about going and doing a trail race, one of the reasons I choose to do it is because it's in a beautiful location or it's here or there. And there'd be another reason, but I don't even care where they are, these orienteering races. I just think it's going to be a good challenge as this. And I'm looking forward to it because it'll be different. Also, not just the places are different and the types of maps are different, but the kind of what's the word I'm looking for? The distances. When you're trying to get the scales. That's what I'm looking for. So the word scales. So that adjusting to the different scales for each map is a challenge in itself, isn't it? Because when you do the snooker, for example, and you're on a very, very small map, you can easily run off it, and it takes a couple of checkpoints to kind of get used to how far you need to run. Whereas if you're on a much bigger map and a totally different scale, you have to run a bit further. So that's a big learning curve as well. There's so much to learn. It's so interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a never-ending sport.
Like, it is. Yeah, exactly that.
There's so many variables to it, and like I know we chat a lot, and like we spoke about this in a meeting with Garmin yesterday, didn't we, for the Quid Games and everything. And like you've got people that are kind of selling orienteering without mentioning the word orienteering, and like you've got Unsanctioned Athletics, which brilliant company, and the way that they dress things up and brand stuff is that it's the second coming of Christ, and it's like, look at this like brand new type
We've
of event.
We've invented this new sport.
Yeah, and it's like it's orienteering, but the way that they market it is like, come and try this brand new type of race. You don't know the course until 20 minutes before. It was like, well, first of all, orienteering, you don't know the course till you start, so there you go. But like, you've got 4 checkpoints to get to. I think they did one recently in Amsterdam a couple of days, but they did the 4 bridges in Newcastle. And the way that they market it as in like, you don't know the route, you can take any route and everything like, and people are like, going crazy for it, or seemingly going crazy, even though it's like a very limited entry. That they're very selective on the entry, aren't they? In terms of image and everything, which is, perfectly fine. But I think the biggest thing for us is that, this is orienteering. Like they're not like they've just repackaged it, and they've repackaged it fantastically well. But if you want to do something like this, there's like 2,000 events that go on throughout the UK that genuinely, like, you will know a rough distance-ish. You turn up to the start. Once you've like punched the start, that's only then when you know where you've got to get to. And that's the sport of orienteering. And it's like, just demystify it. Like, if you want to race like that, that's orienteering.
It's absolutely true. Yeah. I mean, they're doing a great job, as you said, but like, give a nod to the sport, because let's try and get more people doing it. I mean, I'm annoyed with myself for not getting involved sooner. I mean, I've had a long and wonderful career in fell running and trail running and mountain running, but I wish I'd have just embraced it early on and kind of got over that stereotype and just pushed myself into something a bit different, and also put yourself out there, because I've made a lot of mistakes and like a lot of fuck ups, and I know that I've got this list of excuses, but jokes aside, I've actually enjoyed the process of learning and being like really crap at something where I don't normally do stuff that I'm not good at, because I don't like to put myself out there usually, but I have really embraced orienteering, and I've actually enjoyed being the beginner as opposed to the person that is telling somebody, oh, you need this pair of trail shoes, or do this race, or, coming from, let's say, an expert level because of the experience of trail running, being somebody who people kind of go to for answering questions. I'm actually the other side, and it's actually quite nice. I've really, really enjoyed that side of it. So I think, if anybody is listening to this and is wanting to take part in orienteering, there are so many races out there.
Yeah, and literally all over the country, like, and abroad as well, and it's like these happen. Weirdly enough, nothing happens in the sport on a Monday evening. Don't know why. Like, it's not a legal requirement, but there's events like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every kind of weekend, all around the country. You don't have to be a club member to go and do them. You don't have to be a British Orienteering member. You'll find them all on Fabian, SI entries, race sign up. You can choose what course you've got. And like even stuff like families.
I love looking at SI entries, because you can literally just
filter
tick
them all
box,
as well.
filter out orienteering or whatever, whether it's cycling or whatever. It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they don't cost much either. That's the good
No,
thing. I'm
they're
just
like-
going to get that in there because I am the yellow sticker man who goes to Spa and I
Yeah.
like to save my pennies.
She was putting them out this morning as well.
Shit. I should have got another bacon sandwich.
But yeah, I mean, like some are £3, some, our event tomorrow is £9. The race is probably like 12, 13 pound. It is like, oh, that's a bit steep. Like, it's not in the general, you're paying £50 these days to do Manchester 10K.
I can say you're paying £7.5 for a pint of Guinness in Grassington, to be honest. So it's nothing, is it?
No, but I mean, like the great thing about the sport as well is that, like I obviously mentioned on like the first podcast about the variety of courses and everything. It's not like you're just turning up and there's one 10K course and then you're kissing your kids goodbye and then it's like your wife's going sitting in Costa for, 48 minutes or whatever you're doing your 10K time. And it's like tomorrow at the event we're doing in Blackburn, there's courses that, a yellow course, for example, which Winds could do, you could do like the red course, which we're doing tomorrow, which is simpler, longer run out. There's courses there for kind of like your 15-year-old lad and everything. And it's like, you don't have to just say, see you in 3 hours to your family or something. It's like, there's genuinely something for everybody.
Yeah.
Do,
at an event.
Do secondary schools do much of it?
They do, but the thing is with orienteering is that it's only kind of just-ish come back onto the curriculum.
Okay.
And it's that fear of the unknown. It's like, I mean, Ben will tell you, he's like, ex-secondary school teacher, I'm ex-primary school teacher. It's like, you only teach what you're comfortable with. So it's like, if you don't understand about the sport, are you going to do orienteering or are you going to teach rugby?
It might sound more complicated, but I'm just thinking out loud. It's like when you're in school and you get chucked in the cross country, there's not really a leveler, is it? It's either people who want to do it or genetics. yeah. And you don't know it at that age. Whereas orienteering, you could have the thinkers and and it is a bit more of a leveler. So if you could get kids more involved in that, I can imagine, and I'm sure that's already happening in orienteering. It's a bit more of a leveler.
Yeah.
But I think
it is growing in schools.
It would be good, and I know at a young age they love all that kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's not,
problem
like you say,
solving,
it's a bit like unsanctioned athletics, isn't it? They're calling it something else.
Yeah.
but it is like a
and
low level orienteering. Like whenever my kids go off and do something similar, it's that they're engaged for the whole thing. Whereas you said, we're doing cross country for an hour, it's like,
I mean, one of the hardest things in teaching in general is trying to challenge everybody in a classroom that has obviously got a range of abilities, and being inclusive and orienteering is perfect for that, because you could set a course up and everybody's approaching that in a different way and everybody's challenging themselves in their own way out there. So I mean,
if they're in
it's
pairs
a perfect
like
sport
or whatever.
Yeah. And it's
Perfect
humbling
spot.
as well, isn't it?
It is humbling,
For
someone like
the
me.
cocky ones like us that are like
I don't know if
back
they'd
in
have
year
sent us
9.
off the school round in a local council estate at lunchtime. They had enough problems with us doing that anyway.
Good excuse to smoke a fag at checkpoint 3.
Yeah. But I think, like, for me as well, is like, part of my main role, like one of the strategic aims without starting getting too serious, is like changing the perception. And I mentioned before, like, I never knew about the sport. I did mountain marathon. I did the OMS for 4 years before I even realised I was doing orienteering. And, I know the guys at the OM, Emma and Stuart, and they've been really supportive in the last few years to, you were there this year at the Lake District Running Festival. It's been rebranded as, like, rather than the OM Light, which happens like in June. And it's kind of getting the message across to those people that are doing, these festivals, the Lakeland, Saunders, that what you're doing is orienteering. Like it's orienteering. It's nothing like, this is the sport. And if you want to do it, you don't have to wait 3 times a year or just once a year. Like I said, there's so many opportunities. And even if you're taking your kids out on a Halloween trail this half term, where you're finding like the spooky letters around a park, you're orienteering because you're using a map to get to checkpoints.
Yeah.
And it's that awareness of like it like demystifying the fear. And I think, there's been, and probably still is, a lot of kind of disservice done to the sport in how it's delivered, possibly within schools or in the Scouts or DV, that you're trudging along with a massive backpack and you're soaking wet through and you're using an OS map and you're miserable and
you have to be able to use a map and compass. Yeah.
And it's, people dress it up lazily as orienteering, and then 20 years later they'll come up to us at the National Running Show or something and say, oh, we tried it and I never enjoyed it. I didn't realise it was like this. And it's like, that's on us as a national governing body to get that message out there and say, you know, what you might think orienteering is actually isn't. Like it's, you know, and the speed that the elites are going at is just like what Tove is going at and what...
It's frightening, but it's great to see, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think...
Outside the UK, France, Spain and things like this, it's such a, like you say, there's such a crossover in terms of a lot of these guys that you see in top level trail running and stuff, and girls you see in your here, they have been an orienteer or something. It's less over here. No, we have got more now. But I think, like you say, so many outside the UK, like you say, you can be an orienteer, then you can go into schemo, then you can do this, and you've got a 12-month calendar. Whereas, like you say, I think here, orienteering is perfect for that almost, isn't it? Because
it does everything.
You can have a good period of doing orienteering to benefit elite runners and everyone, really.
Yeah.
I've been doing a race pretty much every week. In fact, I did 3 in a week the other week. But Wednesday nights seem to be a thing for us, don't they, at Pendle Forest?
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, you've organised a lot of them, but I am genuinely excited and looking forward to those Wednesday night races. Honestly, I'm like driving home from work thinking I cannot wait to race. And it's given me like a new, I don't know, like I've been running, as I've said, for a long time. And not that I've lost the passion for it, but that excitement has been sparked now.
What he's trying to say is slowing down.
Yeah, I'm slowing down. Yeah. I'm getting there. Hang on, Gary. That's
orienteering the new golf. Is that what it is?
That's excuse number 7, that one. Yeah. On my list. Yeah. But I
could do 5 miles in an hour. I'll go to orienteering.
Exactly. He's read right through that, hasn't it? Yeah. But that excitement of like doing something new and not knowing actually where you're going to be and where you're going to go,
thing, isn't it?
That's
like,
what gets me, honestly. And then also knowing that if I drive over to, say, Burnley or somewhere in that direction on a night and I'm coming back to Freshfield afterwards, I can call for fish and chips on the way home. So like I'm building that in as well, so I can get a little bit excited about that. Jokes aside, it's quite nice, like planning an evening around it. And Kirsty's dad comes to watch us, so I can have a pint if Kirsty drives as well. And so it's great though, but it's a really good way of like spending time in an evening when I would have just been sat at home probably watching TV. You know what I mean?
It's the unknown, I think, though, isn't it? It's getting you out. Like it's you don't know. You can get to a place, but then you don't know what's going to happen. You know, you're probably going to have to get 20 odd checkpoints, but you don't know what you're going to get, where you're going to get them,
and where you're going to be, and what it's going to look like.
Yeah,
it's taken me to some really nice places. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's taken me to some shitholes as well. But actually, I've not been thinking about where I am when I've been doing it. I've just been doing it, So it's been great, and that for me has been the most exciting thing. Would you have that same
motivation? Like you said, you did 6.5 miles, so you did over 10k. A few weeks ago in Burnley on a Wednesday night, like would you have got home and done a 10k round hit because you know what's coming up and you know I've got that
it's
hill.
Too predictable.
Like,
yeah, no chance. I'd have just stayed at home and watched some football. Honestly, like genuinely, I wouldn't have bothered going. I'd have just done a run around here because it's probably like more scenic than going to Burnley Town Centre. But doing an orienteering race in Burnley on Wednesday night, all for it. And I'd sack off my run round here to do that. And that's the difference. And that's huge, isn't it?
It is, and it's I obviously got an interest like in a wider athletics world and everything. And like, I think the thing about orienteering is like, it's unknown, like, and that's the biggest thing. And that's the biggest thing we're trying to change. But I don't think people, first of all, realize what speed elite orienteers go at, which I've mentioned, but I don't think people realize kind of how little funding the sport gets. Like, we're not part of British athletics or UK athletics or anything like, and the funding that we get is probably roughly from Sport England, 200 grand a year for the sport, for the whole sport. You look at UK athletics and
just your wage, that is it?
It's half a wage. It's not me expenses. But like, you look at UK athletics and they're on 40 odd million. Like, and I know, like watching the Golden Trail series last week, like it wasn't last week, but I was catching up on it last week. And, it was a great race, don't get me wrong, but then they're obviously like trying to push to get trail running in the Olympics, which, would be fantastic. Like, I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I'm watching it. And then obviously, you get the camera runners like it was on about, and then they're out of breath and then they'll stop and then it'll go blurred for a bit. And then you get this generalized look of, it was at Ledrow, like the last one, the finale at Ledrow. And you'll get this overshot and then you'll get them back chasing the runners and then it'll go blurred again. And yet I'm still watching it for 3 hours. And then I'm thinking, like, what about orienteering? Like, I'm sat there and I'm invested in this race for 3 hours, and it cuts out and everything. And then you see like the top 3, and then you won't see anyone else. And then they'll chat about people and everything like that. But then I'm thinking, like, with orienteering, like, I'm just sat watching this person going up this trail for 3 hours.
And if you threw that level of like problem solving and challenge and unpredictability, and the fact that somebody could miss a checkpoint or somebody could come in front, it would be so much more fun to watch, wouldn't it? And exciting.
And like Eurovision, I know not the Eurovision, but Eurovision sport are doing it really well at the moment. Like, they've covered the European Championships in Belgium in July. And they've got GoPro runners following the runners, some of the runners, because obviously with orienteering, with route choice, he's splitting off. So it's like, who do I stay with? But they've got like half screen of the runners, half screen of the map. So you can, and it's like live tracking, so you can see where people are going and everything. And they've done it really well, fantastically well. And then like you go back to watching the Golden Trail series, and they're like, let's get this into the Olympics and everything. And it's like, because we're not an Olympic sport, we don't get any of the UK sport funding. And it's like athletics have got all this funding. And yet, in my eyes, I know I'm biased, like, imagine orienteering at the Olympic, like, you can imagine it on a bigger scale, just having that awareness. Like, I will sit and watch a trail race for 3-4 hours, and it's just the same thing. But like, it's like, it doesn't bring that excitement of orienteering, all the unpredictability of it, and it's like that kind of awareness of how little funding there is out there for our sport, and yet we're still kind of there in the background and like just kicking away.
So
and
that, I assume that might change with growth in numbers, hopefully, and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we'll never ever get UK sport funding because we're not an Olympic sport, and like we do comparisons, and it's like equestrian, they get £14 million, and it's like, come on, who wants to ride an horse? Like, that's not a sport for me. Like, don't get me started on what's a sport and what's not a sport. But like, I just think like, and I guess the point that I'm
Ben's
getting,
been breakdancing.
I know. Well, the next one's like flag football, isn't it? Like tag rugby or whatever. It's like, come on, guys.
But they have that argument, like with touching on athletics. There's a very niche amount of people that you could argue that will watch a full 5K or 10K. Yeah, and it's maybe it's just a little corner in the thing while all the field events are going on, and then the excitement's in the last couple of laps. But at the same time, like orienteering, it's a set time usually, isn't it? So, like you say, from a spectator's point of view, it's almost perfect. Not a spectator sport necessarily, but for viewership, definitely.
Yeah,
It's
like, I don't know if there is this is me kind of like throwing the question out there, but like I know sports user heavily like involved with the M11 run club, like Keely Hodgkinson's run club in Manchester and everything. But knowing kids as we do, kind of like being in education and obviously like having kids, like is running doomed? Like, do kids want to run round a track? Like, and what I'm trying to say is like, and again, I'm biased, but is orienteering like what is it on TikTok these days? Is it like 7 seconds of attention people have got before they scroll off?
It's true.
And it's like, how do we get kids to a track to run around the same track? Kids these days to run around an oval track for 45 minutes 3 times a week but with orienteering, that kind of like unpredictability, and you don't know what's happening, and it's problem solving.
You're being active without realising out yet. And it's a good way in. It's a fun way in to endurance sport, essentially, isn't it? And if you were to do a PE class and you did an orienteering course, I think not only would the kids really enjoy it, but everybody, whether they're walking, jogging, sprinting, would get something out of that physically. If you said to, I don't know, 30 primary school kids, you took them out on the track and you just got them all running around the track, would they enjoy it? Maybe 2 of them would.
That's what I mean. And these days as well.
The 2 fastest. Probably.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you did it with an orienteering course, actually what you'd find is that some of the slower runners would beat some of the faster runners, and then they could all do it at their own pace. They could all problem solve in a different way, and it would be much more inclusive and more enjoyable, wouldn't it? Definitely.
Yeah, and it's more conversations afterwards. I mean, like,
and then they could go to the pub afterwards, couldn't they, and talk about the route.
Yeah. But it's like, I mean, us four could all do the red race tomorrow. We're doing the red race tomorrow against each other, and we'll have to go to the same 20 checkpoints, but we'll probably we might go the same way round to 19 out of 20 of them.
Yeah.
And we'll go round differently to one of them. And that might be where you beat me by 15 seconds or you've beat me by a minute or so. But like with track, or it's like there's no Like, and you mentioned
Too
it.
formulaic, isn't it?
Yeah, and like you've mentioned it lots, like on the previous podcasts. But like it's like you know what time you're going to turn up and do a 5K time, and you know what time, and it's like you get there and you look to your left and your right and think, oh God, he's there today or she's there today, and I'm probably going to come fourth, or I'm going to come sixth, or she's not turned up, so I'm going to win. And it's like, even though I mentioned before, I get to the start line and I think I've done everything I can, there's still that unpredictability, which I think is the hook to keep you back into the sport.
Unpredictability and the like you say, the bit of jeopardy and stuff, and that's what would keep people's attention, and that's what ultimately they're doing. Like in athletics, like I'm a massive fan of athletics, but I'm more of a fan of. I'm not people. Well, I don't know. Some people might be, but I don't think people are interested in times and stuff these days for many reasons. But like if you watch a race. And it could be nowhere near a world record or something. But if you see a proper race, like the World Championships were great because there were so many close finishes from the marathon to the 10K and all that kind of thing. And that's the first time you got a bit excited about racing again because it was a proper race. So if you've got someone, if you are watching orienteering, I'm assuming it's kind of like you say, if you can see that map. The way people are with attention these days, people love dot watching. They will watch the bloody spine for a full week and it's hardly moving. And the best things I used to like about fell racing, short fell race, you'd be chatting with the lads afterwards about lines and stuff maybe, or saying you stole or you jumped on my line, and what you have that bit of banter, all the way up to like a Dragon's Back, where all the talk is before and after your day at the Dragon's Back is the map. Essentially it's a bit changed now with GPX and everything, but it used to be like which way you go in and all this kind of thing. So that inquisitiveness is always there in terms of the running and the racing. So I don't I think like you say, once orienteering, maybe it's a case of it'll be more lean into being self-funded because you'll have people that want to do it, and then brands will want to get involved and things like this. Yeah,
and I think that's the biggest thing for like obviously like with stuff like we're doing with the Quid Games, and that's like,
because Quid Games, again, not jumping on things, but it's almost like how many people even know what Quid Games is when they look at it? And it will take time, won't it? I imagine. And it's like, what the hell is Quid Games? I spoke to a couple of people this week saying I'm going to go and do it. Like Elson again, he didn't have a clue what it was. But he'd love to. But these people would love to do an event like that. So some of it is just, I guess, getting the messaging out there.
Is it a good point to talk about Quid Games? We're going to do it right at the end, but we might as well now we've mentioned it.
I want to bring up something before this, right? Ben's been doing this for a year. Have we heard Ben's story about the airport last week? Because you'd think, airport being a checkpoint. Over to you, Ben.
Well, recently came back from Italy, didn't I? And I phoned you actually, Kay, when I was in Italy.
You did.
And I was flying back from Milan, and you told me a great story about when you and Emma were coming back from Milan Malpensa airport, and they've got two terminals, and it's not like Manchester where all the terminals are next to each other. There's quite a gap between them. Now, you just tell your story first.
Well, I'll do it very briefly. We got to Terminal 1 and we'd flown in with Ryanair and out with EasyJet, or vice versa. And I knew we were supposed to be at Terminal 1. I just knew it. We got to Terminal 1, got off, and then I got promptly told that I was wrong and we had to go to Terminal 2. Well, as you say, is quite a way away and a shuttle ride away and everything. And then we got off, didn't find a bus anywhere to get back on. Obviously, after the royal we had realised the mistake. Like, because it was a joint mistake at this point as well. And then,
definitely not holding a grudge on this one.
No, not
bitter at all.
No. And then we'd found a bus and it took us to car park 6, sat there for 15 minutes while he had his break. And then we'd got there in plenty of time originally to the airport. And by this point, I was just seething, absolutely seething. And then it took us back to the same terminal, and then we had to get to the other terminal. So
you'd already been in the right place to then go to the other terminal to come back to where you were.
Yeah, but we couldn't get back to where we originally were an hour and a half prior. So
Jesus.
It was a relationship test that once. But over to you for your Milan Malpensa.
So you told me that story at midday on what we're doing on Tuesday, and I was flying. I was heading off at 12:30 that day. So after we'd had the conversation, I got in the car, filled the car up with fuel, and I set off to the airport. Now, for those people that don't know, there are 3 airports near and around Milan. So you've got Malpensa, you've got Linate, and you've got Bergamo. So I've flown from each and every one to Trofeo Vernoni, which where I was, over the last few years. And actually, during last week, I'd done a few airport trips to Bergamo, there and back a couple of times, but I was flying back to Malpensa. So I put the address in the sat nav. I didn't have the map and compass with me, so I used the old sat nav. I was cheating, to be honest, Kay. I wasn't doing it proper orienteering style. So I put the right address in, or so I thought, and it said like an hour and 55 minutes set off. And for the first part of each of those journeys that you would take to any of those airports from where I was, you would go on the same stretch of motorway. And when I got on the motorway, it suddenly switched and said an hour and 25. I thought, bonus. There must be, I don't know, some roadworks that were there that are now not there, or the traffic's a lot better at this time. I don't know. Anyway, got quite far into the journey. And long story short, I ended up 15 minutes from Bergamo airport, and I was thinking, shit, this is taking me the wrong fucking way. I mean, I should have realised, because I'd done that route like 3 times that week. So I should have known. Realised, had an actual heart attack in the car when I found out. And this was 2 hours before the flight, and it said it was going to take an hour and 10 minutes to get to Malpensa airport from where I was. Now, bearing in mind, I got a colleague in the car as well. At this point, she'd stopped talking to me because she was not happy at all. So there was an uncomfortable silence for the next hour where I put my foot down and breaking all kinds of speed limits to get to Malpensa, to drop the rental car off, to then get a bus to the airport, to then check some baggage in and hope and pray that I could get on this flight. And somehow I made it. I have no idea how I made it, but I got to the rental place, drove in. I don't even think I'd switched the car off properly. I threw the keys at this woman, jumped on a different bus to get to the airport, and I was dripping in sweat at this point and like properly stressing out.
So it's really good to see that Ben hasn't learned one thing from his year of volunteering, right?
That's just one of many examples, Chris. Yeah. So, I mean, I've got slightly better, but that is not one of the times where I've managed to do well. But yeah, not good. I'm still not there yet. I'm a work in progress, aren't I? There were a couple of things I wanted to mention before we do talk about quick games. The first thing, you kept mentioning today about a red course. Now, in orienteering at some of these bigger events, there are different types of courses. They are sort of like color coded. Yeah. You could almost compare it to, I suppose, skiing in a way, where like a black run is like a very technical and hard run, and then you've got your kind of easier routes, which might be green, for example. But in this instance, a red course, to my best knowledge, is something that would suit a fell runner or a trail runner, and it's reasonably easy navigation, isn't it? And it's a good place to kind of start. So I generally tend, if there is an option to do a red course, I'll do it because I know that it's manageable and it's great preparation. If anyone's listening, if you are a fell runner, for example, and you have to do a navigation leg of the British relays, it is very, very similar to the standard and the difficulty of that kind of challenge, isn't it? So I mean, I don't know if you just want to talk quickly about the other different colour codes and what they mean.
So like you said, like red is absolutely perfect for that. And I think long before I got involved in the sport, red courses were a thing. And then they seem to kind of like die off a bit. I'm not quite sure why, but...
Red's not dead though, is it?
No, red's not dead. It's bringing back, yeah. So like in the last few years, I think there's just been that need for it and that kind of demand for it. So especially like with Pendle Forest events, we always make sure there's a red course. So like it's a bit, as you say, like skiing or like karate belts or something like that. So the hardest you'll ever do in orienteering, but it's not at every single event, is a black course. And then it goes down to brown and then blue. And then with orienteering, you've got stuff that's called TD. So with any kind of like event web page, it'll tell you TD1 to TD5. And TD5 means technical difficulty. And with that, they mean kind of like how hard it is to find the checkpoint in terms of the terrain. So like a red course is TD3. So it's kind of medium. So it'll either be at a path junction, it'll be on something that's quite obvious, or if it's not at a path junction or by a fence, it will be within sight of it. So I think sometimes, and I was kind of like lured in with this when I first got into the sport, is that I would always look for the longest course, and the red courses weren't that popular 5 years ago compared to what they are now. So I was signing up for like a brown course if it was available, or a blue course. But that comes with like a technical difficulty of 5. But I was thinking, it's 8.5 kilometers as the crow flies. It's going to be longer. Without realizing that kind of color brings the most difficult. So you are probably going to have some doubts about it or need to use the compass. So I was kind of like going for the longest without realizing that the technical difficulty was there as well. So with orienteering, it's always useful to kind of look what technical difficulty it is. So red is perfect, whether you're a club runner, fell runner, whatever. Orange is the same standard, but it's a shorter race as well. So you'll have like white and yellow, a bit like the karate belts, which are introductory, like kids courses. Orange is kind of like a smaller beginner, adult, or just intermediate. Red is the longer one. And then you're getting into like blue, greens, browns, and blacks then, which is like you will have to, in terrain, find a pit or find a depression somewhere on have some knowledge about you. And it's kind of like getting that communication across, because we don't want people to come into the sport from trail running and think, I want to do the 10K one, but then them not have that technical knowledge just yet. And they think, I can't find anything and this is crap and I'm really struggling and I can't do it. It's like, try the red. If the red's not there, an orange will always be there, where you'll still have the orienteering race, but stuff is easier to find. I'm not saying easy as in like it's like staring you right in the face, but if you have something about you, or if you've done a little bit of nav about you before, you can just pick it up and get going with it.
So there's something for everybody, and there's a different level of challenge with these different events. So knowing that, it will help you find the right race for you, essentially. And it's a good, like red has been a great starting point for me, and it's great practice for some of the other things I want to do in terms of fell running, like the British champs and the relays that were mentioned on the navigation leg. It's brilliant practice. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, because we didn't get a chance on the first episode for this with you, and we haven't had a chance just yet, but you are kind of a big deal, aren't you? Just to quote Anchorman, in orienteering, as in like for your age group specifically on the European circuit, every week, if you follow Kay, which I do, it's like a podium picture in different parts of Europe every single week, isn't it? Because you are like going around and doing some amazing things, not just in terms of the level of performance, but actually following your travelling has been really, really interesting. But just tell us a bit more about your personal kind of, I suppose, journey in orienteering, as opposed to trying to get people involved in the sport, because I think we need to give you a bit of praise here for what you've achieved.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like I was saying before, like the stuff that I care about mostly is kind of like the European League. Like I do love traveling. Like any chance that I can get, I'm away.
I call you Judith Chalmers, don't I? You saved in my phone because Judith Chalmers, but it's a bit rich coming from me, isn't it?
I know, but yeah, it is kind of true. But I mean, like the reason why I do love going away and like doing the European League, the city race Euro Tour, is that abroad do it currently so much better than what we do it over here. Like, if you do races abroad, they get the whole town involved, and it's like, the council involved, and there's like big event arenas and everything. And it's like still in the UK, that's where we kind of lack still with our events.
I think you could say that about trail running, because we have done already, haven't we? And we've all done races abroad, and I think that is the thing that people buy into it a bit more in these towns. And
it's not seen as a chore for an event to be going on, and the whole town kind of back it. And it's, you still come over to you are in the UK, and it's like, oh, why is this road closed between 1:30 and 2? I go to Asda on a Sunday, and it's like abroad, it's like people come out and support you, or there's that kind, you're not running like feeling you've got three heads, because it's like the norm abroad. And the city race tour that I do, like I won last year, I've won this year a lot earlier because there's 9 races, and you have to, it's the best score of 5 of them. And I've managed to win it with a few races to go with it this year. But
that's not good for the traveller, is it? Because you could just sit at home.
You've still got an excuse to go there, because they do good trophies. Like I've got some good trophies this year. But I think like the places that they're in, like, done Gdansk city race, Barcelona city race, Budapest city race. Like we've got Warsaw next year. We've got Tbilisi, which I ain't doing after my travels to Georgia last week. But I think like it's those places, like you can go abroad to these places and enjoy yourself, and it's the the bits that come with it as
it's
well.
It's almost a good excuse to go out, because I've done this with trail and mountain running as well. It's like if there's been a World Champs race or a Masters race in Slovenia or Slovakia, I probably wouldn't have visited that particular place. But because there was a race, I went and then had an ace time. And I've actually been back to some of those places, and I've got to see a different part of the world that I perhaps wouldn't have done had it not been for the running.
Yeah.
And it's probably the same with the orienteering, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like last year there was a race in Hungary in a place called Esztergom, which is on the border of Slovakia. And would never have even heard of Esztergom, even though I love traveling and I've been to Slovakia a few times, but been to Bratislava, like not kind of, but because it was in the city race and we did it and everything. It's like absolutely beautiful place. Like, and it's those places that, like, as you say, you would never like go. There's like places next year, like Segovia in Spain. I didn't even know how beautiful it is. Just near Madrid, like, Toledo, like Sintra and all these city races that, you have an excuse to go and explore. Just
going back to that thing about tolerance, do you think part of that is kind of linking in with what you said about participation? So I read something recently, how there's an intolerance to cyclists from an aspect of motorists. But what they found was if people cycled, they were way more tolerant when they were in a car to other bike users. And I wonder whether that's the thing about, the foreign races. Are the people in those towns doing the sport as well? So that's why they're so much more accommodating, which would buy into, if we can get more people in the UK doing it, we actually might find the tolerance to road closures might be a bit better.
I think that's what it is, 100%.
I think a lot more people, and I might just be generalising here and stereotyping, but I think when we organise a race in this country, as an example, the volunteers generally are people within a club that are putting the race on, whereas I think when you go abroad, the community and the village or the town get involved a bit more. And I think you see more volunteers that aren't necessarily part of the sport, but understand that the sport is bringing like a bit of life to that town or a bit of, contributing to the economy. And it's like they're quite proud of like people coming and visiting and racing there. Would you agree with that? I think that's probably a fair assessment, isn't it?
I think so.
I think more people, not just from the club and within the sport, buy into it and help out. And I think that's a difference. I mean, I might be generalising there. But out of those places, Kate, which would you say has been the best experience? Or if you were to recommend one of those races you've done or
Burnley.
where you've been. Yeah, Burnley.
Burnley Urban School. I mean, I talked about it in the first one, but I'll always go back to the Gdansk city race. Like the areas that Gdansk itself is absolutely beautiful, but like I don't want to say weirdly enough, but I think Belgium probably doesn't get the recognition that it deserves in terms of
because you love beer as well, isn't it?
Oh, the bit like you go to a supermarket in Belgium and it's like going into this craft beer shop and it's like €1.50. Now you come back in, it's like, oh, there's that beer, and it's like £6. It's like, oh no, we'll wait until we're back there. But I mean, there's a company it's called ASOM, the Antwerp Sprint Orienteering Meeting, but they do it all around Belgium these days. It started in Antwerp. And they put on a race every year, a weekend of races every year, and they move round. And those are the two races, Gdansk, but Belgium as well. And what Belgium have started the trend of doing, and what we've took inspiration for the Quid Games as well, is that we did a race in March this year. It's one of the first city races. And ASOM's quite prestigious within sprint, and a lot of the kind of elite sprints, they have like an elite sprint, a world ranking event there, and then they have mere mortal races and everything. And I've always wanted to win it, and I won it this year, so I'm like, that's one ticked off. But they had it in a place called Turnhout, and previous years they've done it in like Ghent, or they've done it like, in Antwerp, Brussels, whatever. But this year the same organising company were doing the European Championships, which is a massive deal. So a lot of their focus was on that this year in July. So we were like, should we go, shouldn't we go? Because it's kind of like the equivalent of doing an event in Bolton, or like Lichfield or something like that, or Slough. Like looking at it on Google Maps, like it's like, why should we go there? But they've got this reputation of, so it's going to be a good event. So you're kind of like looking at it on Google Maps thinking it's an ordinary place, but we'll go across anyway, we'll do it. And then what they managed to do as an organisation was just unbelievable. Like they did like a Friday sprint, a Saturday event, a Sunday event. But they worked with the council, they worked with the organiser, they worked with businesses and schools and everything, that they just opened up places within the town that you weren't expected to go. So the second race, for example, so like the Saturday evening race, we were staying near the town centre where the start was, and we were like, oh, it's going to start in the town square. like, because you can tell it's like 400 meters from event assembly. So you're like, that's 400 meters. So it's going to start there. And then like you get there, like, and it's like, where is it? Can't say. And then you see like this orienteering flag. And you're like, surely it can't be. And then as you get, they started from inside a police station. And it's like,
Brilliant.
what? Like, what are you, like, this is like and then it's like you minus, so in orienteering, you have like start boxes, as I've explained, and it's like -4. So you'll start there, and then -3, you'll pick up your control disc, -2, -1, and then you go kind of thing. And you start in -4 and you're in the middle of this, like the cells are to the left of you, and you're like, like, just wouldn't happen in the UK. Like, it'd just be totally.
Be good at Salford.
Exactly. Like, you know. But like, and then the start itself was in the police courtyard. And then you did a control in there and then you disappeared out. But then like they'd opened up these private schools and it opened up these private houses. And so you're getting the map and you're thinking, hang on a minute, that's a building. Like, why is it like, and then you get there and then it's just this door open. And so like what they did was they just turned this, what should have been an ordinary event in this ordinary place. There was nothing wrong with it, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't Ghent and it wasn't like Antwerp or anything. And then like on the Saturday, you were orienteering around hospital grounds. And it's like, I remember going down into this control, thinking, where is it? Because it was in a bit of a depression kind of thing. And it was hidden by a tree a little bit. And I'm thinking, I'm getting up to it. And it's just this woman in the wheelchair going, go down. I'm like, oh, right. And it did.
You have to dip into her wheelchair.
But she was just sat there. And I'm thinking, oh, this is cool. Like, and then the next control, you kind of were led into this underground car park. And they must have just wheeled like these set of patients out to just watch you. But then you think of the UK and it's just like, it doesn't cross your mind. It's just like the races abroad tend to have just that extra step of imagination. Like, how can we do something different? And then with that race, it didn't suit me in the slightest because it was too much. There was too much thinking in like, but like I said before, I'd exposed myself to it. So I was a lot more comfortable this year with just, don't lose your head, keep your head. But you couldn't relax at all throughout. And then the penultimate control to the finish, instead of just having like a run-in, they'd done like an artificial barrier. So there was just people stood on the street with a tape and you couldn't go there. Like, so you had to, but again, the only way around was like to the right. And they took you through this nursery building. So you had to like go through this nursery with all this play equipment and sand pits and everything to go round to the finish. So it's like abroad just seemed to just, not every race, don't get me wrong. There will still be some races where you think, never mind. It was, we got a few beers out of it or whatever. But 9 times out of 10, they just have that
different experience.
Yeah. And the permissions in place and everything. Yeah. And then that was March this year. And then obviously you said like Kendall Martin Festival and everything like that. So leading on nicely to the Quid Games, hopefully, but we've tried to use that for the Quid Games this year. And
yeah, that model of kind of doing something really different and going places that you wouldn't normally expect to go. So just to put it out there as well, like Gary, you're going to be racing Quid Games. We're all going to be there at Kendall Mountain Festival this year. So Kay and I are organising Quid Games too. Gary's going to be with us all weekend. We're going to be presenting. We've got loads of stuff going on at Sports Shoes. But you're going to be racing Quid Games. So we can't give too much away about the actual route because anybody who's doing it, part of the fun of this is finding out on the night, isn't it? And in that moment. But we have opened up parts of Kendall that potentially you would never visit or get the chance to visit before within the race. So it's going to be very exciting and very different. And whilst we're on the subject of Quid Games, we're creating something that I think brings all the disciplines of running together. So it's not necessarily suited to orienteers. We've got trail runners entered, we've got fell runners, we've got road runners, mountain runners, and it's almost a new kind of concept that all of these different types of runners can compete against each other. And it's almost fair, isn't it? Because that map doesn't necessarily suit an orienteer.
No, and the route doesn't necessarily suit an orienteer. No. And that's the whole premise of it, is that you will get to the start, you will pick up your map, you will get to a certain point just after the start, and then you genuinely have a choice. Then you can either go straight on, left or right, and it's in the dark. And the way that we did Quid Games 1, we've carried on to Quid Games 2, is that the checkpoints are loaded with prizes that, very grateful for all of the sponsors that have come on board and still coming on board.
Yeah. So we've got so far Garmin, Silver, Red Bull, Morton, and the big lead sponsor is ASICS.
Passenger as well.
Yeah, Passenger helping out as well. So yeah, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. So if you want to enter, unfortunately, tough shit, it's full. But you can come and you can watch, and you will be able to see all the action afterwards on the Sports News channels. But I mean, it did fill up straight away, and it does show that I think the demand for doing something a bit different is out there, and we will be doing more of these races
how
again.
How limited are you on getting numbers on a start line for something like that?
I mean, we're probably limited in this sense with the places we're taking you into.
Yeah.
Kind of
And we
thing.
don't want to dilute the experience for those that are doing
What
it.
is it? 200?
Yeah, it'll just be short of 200,
Something like that.
I think.
Is
And
that quite normal for?
I think it's quite high, isn't it, for an orienteering course, really?
It is for a mass start, so everyone's starting together.
Got you, okay.
But for stuff like the London City
so
race,
all 200 of us are going to be piling off into Kendal.
yeah. But the great thing is, obviously, well, not obviously, but because it's a score course, is that you can go to any of the checkpoints in any order. So genuinely, you will get to a point not too far from the start where you will have a decision which goes, and it'll be just spread out.
Yeah.
And there are prizes left, right,
I'll
up
have a
and
look
down.
At the start list then and align myself.
But I mean, the thing is, like,
Gary, I think you need to start having a look at a map of Kendal first.
Gary got lost coming to my house today. He's only been here 15 times. So it will be funny.
One of my best friends is from Kendal. I'll get the lowdown. Yeah,
get the lowdown. But no, it's going to be really good, and we've got loads going on that weekend. So even though Quid Games is full, it'd still be amazing to come and watch, because it's going to be a party-like atmosphere, and it'll be like something that's never been done before at Kendal. It'll be the big highlight of Kendal Mountain Festival this year, and they won't mind me saying that either. But we've got talks on all the way through Friday, Saturday and Sunday. We've got an orienteering workshop before Quid Games. We've got Tom Evans, who is going to be starting Quid Games. He's not racing, but Tom Evans, who won UTMB, not just a random guy called Tom Evans. He's sponsored by ASICS, Garmin, and Red Bull and Morton, so it makes sense for him to be there.
Yeah,
He's got no choice. But basically,
I think the word you're looking for is contractually.
yeah, I basically made it so he had no choice to come. So that I forced him into it, essentially. But he will be there, and he'll be doing a talk, which you can still buy tickets for all the other things as well. It's just the demand of Quid Games was like through the roof. But it just shows that orienteering is
I better do that workshop
in a good
then.
place. Yeah, got to do that workshop. So I think that's a great place to finish, to be honest, isn't it? It's very exciting times at the moment, especially with Kendal coming up, but there'll be more Quid Games for those that have missed out this time. But yeah, thanks again, Kay, for coming on, sharing a little bit more about orienteering, a bit more about you as well, because it's always good having you on. And also, just to mention, the next time you come on, it's your third appearance, you do get a framed picture of me and Gary.
That's what I've been aiming for, I tell you.
So, I mean, I know that at the moment you've been replacing all the pictures of you and Emma in the house with pictures of you and Tove. You're going to have to include me and Gary in there now as well. So Emma's not going to be happy. There's going to be no pictures of Emma. It'll just be Tove, and then me and Gary, and then you with Tove as well. And the odd
See a
picture
problem
of Emma.
with that.
So sorry, Emma. But yeah.
Well, thank you for having me and letting me, fuse about the sport. And like, just as a final note, like, obviously Quid Games is packed with prizes and something different. But as I said, like, orienteering happens throughout the year, every single week that, you want to race where you don't know what you're going to do. You just have to find some checkpoints, then visit British Orienteering, cracking events, cracking your postcode or wherever you want to do one, and you'll find something. Just turn up and give it a go, because once you try it, you're hooked.
I am the example of that, definitely. And I just will say as well that Kay set a new standard for the guests that come onto the podcast. So she turned up this morning with two bacon sandwiches, one for each of me and Gary, and 2 bottles of San Pellegrino. I mean, that is standard setting.
It's not even going on expenses either. That's
unreal.
Out of my own pocket.
That is commitment, Kay. I tell you, you've taken it to another level. So I know Jacob's sat next door now, and he's probably listening to this. So he's got time to go to the spa and buy a few pies, just to keep that trend going. But yeah, if anybody does want to come on the podcast and you've got a good story to tell, or you're an interesting character, don't bother replying if you're not, or if you're not prepared to bring some food or drink off me and Gary.
Got enough messages.
Yes, and send the request to Gary. But yeah, we'll finish there. Thanks, Kay. Looking forward to listening to this one, and we'll see you next Tuesday.